Hide your snacks.
What's up, guys? What's going on? I hope everything works. We didn't have much time to check everything. I think it did. I think it is. And for those of you, some of you may recognize, I got to go to Menards today. The pizzas, I didn't have an oven, so I had to pass on the pizzas. I did see the pizzas. I took some pictures of the pizzas, but I did not know that you could go to Menards, which is a hardware store, and you can like get jumbo bags of snacks. So I stocked up on some snacks today at the hardware store, which was odd. And then we went to a couple more places and like found some furniture at one of the stores. It's crazy. I don't know what these folks up here do, but you can go to 2 stores and basically buy everything you need if you're a guy. Like, I'm seriously, it's something else. But yeah, so I've got me some. These are my trail mix from Menards. I did get me a little souvenir. It's not a 5-gallon bucket, but you know what I'm talking about. Like it'll hold maybe like, I don't know, a juice cup. So yeah, I got me one of these.
You got one of these.
Yeah, so I got me one of those. Some snacks. Even got a couple pair of shorts because I wear Carhartt, and so got some shorts over at the Fleet Farm.
Mills Fleet Farm. Yep.
Fleet Farm. Yeah. So yeah, it's been fun. So there we go. So what about you, Steve? What have you been up to? I know what you've been up to for the past, I don't know, several hours, but what you been up to?
Yeah, well, this week's been a lot of prep for our meetup tomorrow. So, the Clack and family are in town for one more day. And so tomorrow at 4 p.m., we're meeting up at the Wow Zone here in town. And so I've been doing some, making up some swag. So we got some t-shirts. I got a few different colors and a few different sizes, made those up. And then this was kind of a dry run. I went ahead and made some hats up. I know people have been asking about some swag I can offer. I'm trying to see if I can do more of it in-house just from the low volume. But I'll have some of these available. And then for the select few, we do have some Clack on a coaster and, some of that too. So yeah, we've got that, some swag and such. And also getting the van loaded up. Like I was talking about with this meetup, we're going to be having some door prizes. I've got about 8 machines, a variety of things. A lot of lasers.
8.
There's a CNC machine. And
we have this lovely.
Oh, and then I also have.
I don't know how heavy is this thing.
If you're coming.
How heavy is this?
You might be able to lift it. I mean, don't hurt your back. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, this is the enclosure for the D1 Pro that I made a couple years ago, and I don't need it anymore. So if someone's coming and they could use this.
Oh, wait a minute. I got an idea.
Let me know.
I got an idea. Stand by.
Stand by. So a little behind the scenes action here, but yeah, the
smarter, not harder, guys.
The enclosure for the X-Tool D1 Pro that I built, and there's plans available. If you want the legit from the video prototype one, if you can use this and you're coming.
Oh, this is a piece of Vintauri's workshop history. This thing is a collector's item. I mean, there's people out there right now probably wanting to know how they can go about getting their hands on this thing.
Well, there have been some people who asked me to build them for them, but anyway, so we're gonna have some legit door prizes. Then I have some things like this that it's basically gonna be whoever speaks up that they can use it. I mean, I hate to do it, but if I can't find a home for it, I might just need to disassemble it because I'm not using it and it's taking up space. So we're gonna have some fun at the Wow Zone tomorrow, hanging out with people, meeting people. Hopefully people are making connections because I know a lot of the local people and local that's I don't know. There's a lot of people signing up. All right, so I know there's some people making a long trek, but it's we'll have some things to give away, some fun time to hang out. We're providing some like dessert bars and cookies, but they have a full menu. And if you are coming, please like at least get a soda or maybe order some dinner because that's going to help bring down the cost of the room as well. But
yeah, we've got the 2 rooms from 4 to 6. I don't know what time the place closes, but my thing is I mean, we'll still be hanging out. I probably will. I can't speak for Steve. I'll still be around.
So yeah, they have like a arcade, bowling, and then they have just a regular restaurant bar area. So we'll be hanging around with people, hanging out. But officially, it's from 4 to 6 p.m. So so yeah, it'll be a good time. We're excited to meet up with everybody that is able to make it. It's been kind of a whirlwind visit. David and his family have been doing a lot of sightseeing around here. They're going to maybe go a little more regional here before they have to head back south, but kind of a whirlwind trip for them. And just so he felt okay. We went out to lunch earlier and the poor waitress, she's like, no, we don't have sweet tea. We up here, we like our unsweetened stuff, but just on the record, I did make sure that if he needed it, I get some extra sweet tea here for him. So I'm trying to be a good host.
Well, I've been drinking a lot of water because, trying to do better, trying to live a little better and do a little better with the sugars and stuff. But of course, I'm also been running my rear end off for like the past 4 days. So yeah. So right now I'm drinking a Monster. I might not be able to sleep tonight, but right now I'm drinking a Monster and having some Menards trail mix. So there you go. Let's see. I do have some shirts and stuff that I brought with me. I did some koozies as well. I didn't have any hats. So Steve's one up me on the hats, but we are going to have some drawings. I picked up a little milk crate looking thing tonight so we can put our tickets in, and we're going to have, when you come in, you're going to get the 2-part ticket where you tear apart and then put one half in the box, one half you keep. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw some prizes. I do have a whole bunch more shirts, depending on how many we give away, hopefully. And so if you want more than what, are there for the giveaway, then, if you give me back what I spent on them, I can give them to you. But there's a whole bunch of shirts in the back of the car. So yeah, I think it's going to be a fun time. It's been an experience. This is the furthest north I have been ever. So that's a cool thing. Rob said, "Are you cold yet?" It's not. Now, last night, I ain't gonna lie. Last night we went and I met Steve over in a park, and they had a fireworks display. And me and the family went over there, and we sat and was watching the fireworks display. And there, it had rained a little earlier, and then the fireworks were getting ready to go off, and the wind was blowing across there. And I'm not gonna lie, I could have thrown on a hoodie. Like that wind was a little cool, but during the day, it's awesome. Like I haven't like dripped sweat anywhere since we've been here. My daughter even said today, she's like, "Daddy, we walked like a mile, and I'm not even sweating because she's in the band and they do marching and stuff." And she's like, "Usually when we walk out on the field to do marching, I just start pouring sweat." So it's a different. I'm not gonna say it's not hot. Like if you stand in the sun here, it's going to interact with your skin. Your skin's going to get hot, but it's like the breeze and the humidity and those things kind of help to make it feel not as bad. So it's like it's very comfortable. It feels like up here right now to me feels like April back home. I wouldn't say it's quite March because March when you go outside it's still a little bit chilly in the mornings. But it's about like an April. Me and Brandy talked about it. It's about like an April day back home. So it's definitely a welcome change. I am thankful that it is cooler because we've always gone to the beach, and I've never understood why we go from melting to melting more down at the beach because it's just as bad. So and then you just got sand everywhere. But it's been an experience so far. So good. Radu said he's not seeing Clack Shack stickers anywhere. You're not looking real good, Radu. Because they're and there's where's another one? Like right here. Like I've got them. They're everywhere. I promise you. I don't know how many I put out, but I put a bunch of them out. Some of them Steve knows where they are because they're kind of obvious. Some of them he'll find them in a year or two. So
We'll be doing a little scavenger hunt later. I might have to do a little video on finding them all, but
yeah,
yeah, the weather, it was really hot earlier this week, but it's still warm for Midwest, but it definitely is much more mild and much better for what they've experienced. And yeah, last night, the funny thing is I had kind of given Clack an idea like, hey, here's a good area maybe to go see the fireworks. And then I was like, I'm just going to hop on the bike and ride up that way and just scout out a few areas as well. And we had some storms coming through, but they were supposed to have kind of died down, and I was kind of waiting at the park, and just a really bad storm kicked up. And I'm out in this ball field with my e-bike and like no protection. So I kind of got soaked, although my sister happened to be like just across the place, and she messaged me. She's like, "Hey, are you here?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, come over here. We got the car." So I was extra cold because I was soaked.
Yeah, I felt a little bad for you leaving there looking like a wet rat.
but no, it has cooled off a bit here, so it's still warm by Midwest standards, but it's not the sweltering hot that we get. So it's nice that they were able to come north and actually experience a little bit of cool. But I'm not worried about him staying because we've been talking about snow, and he wouldn't make it up here.
Yeah, I don't do snow. I don't do snow. I would be like a negative snowbird. Like, you know how we have those people down south that live in Florida during the winter or, lower Alabama. And then during the summer, they come up to, Wisconsin, Ohio, all these different places. I would be like a reverse snowbird. I would like come up here during the summer and then go back down there during the winter. That would be.
Well, that's what they do. That's what snowbirds do.
They
go down south, but yeah.
I would have to. I would not be able to. Well, I'm just saying, instead of a snowbird, like somebody coming from the north going to the south, I'd be going from the south to the north to avoid the heat. But yeah, it is different. Like I said, a lot of the things are different. Brandy did get kind of like I'm not gonna say the girl was making fun of her, but I think there was a girl that at one of the gas stations or stores that we stopped at got a little tickle with Brandy because she was trying to get a caramel drink, and the way she said it, the little girl was just like it got her a little tickle because Brandy has a bit of a southern accent, and of course this girl was like, I think it was in Illinois, so there was like an obvious response to the accent. And she tells the story better. Maybe if you're at the meet and greet tomorrow, maybe she can tell the story. But yeah, it was basically the lady's like, here is your caramel milkshake, and Brady's like, okay. So it's been fun. And so far, it's been a decent, pleasant trip. The driving was rough. It was a long drive. I was not cut out to be a long haul trucker. So.
Yeah, Brian, if you're interested in it, I'll have it with you. And if I believe you're coming, so you can take a look at it. I'm more than happy to take it with you. It does include a honeycomb, so
yeah. I don't know if will the Acer fit in there. Maybe. Brian, measure your machine and bring your measurements with you. Bring a measuring tape just in case. It may. I think the Acer is a little bit bigger, but it may. I don't know how you built it, but it may fit.
Yeah, I don't remember offhand.
It's hard to say. So bring measuring tape and some dimensions with you, and you can check it. It's a good enclosure. Like I said, it's a piece of Vintauri's workshop history right here. Uberfers want to know how many RSVPs you got.
It's getting up there. It's in the upper 20s, and then I had also asked people to, like, if you have a +1 or whatever, let me know. So I think there's probably a good chance that outside of like us and our families, we're probably going to have 35 to 40 people there total, maybe including us. But yeah, it should be a good crowd, but not.
Well, with the number of machines that you're taking with you, that's about a 50% chance right now. Because assuming that it's a spouse or a friend or whatever going with them, it's about a 50% chance that you're going to go home with something if you want to. So. Brian's saying he's got a friend that could use the enclosure if it'll work, I guess. I said get the measurements, and because me or Steve, either one, I haven't had a standard P20 in a long time, so I couldn't tell you what the measurements were on the outside. What else we got? Echo feedback is real.
I'm having to mute myself just so it's not picking up over us for some reason.
Huh. Let me see if I can. Hang on, I'll put my mic on. See if that fixes it. Let me see, because it may.
Yeah, we're trying to run from dual mics on mine, but it may be picking up double for him. So bear with us. This is kind of like
This is uncharted territory.
But anyway, there was a question while you're playing with that. Seth's asking, talking about making enclosures, what acrylic do you use for a diode laser? Does it have to be a certain color, or will clear do for smoke control? It's a mixture of color. You want like an orange or green, but you really should get some stuff that's been tested. There's, what is it? JTech Photonics sells some stuff that's rated. It's like an OD3. We can probably pull up the link for you in a little bit, but they actually test it for its optical density against that wavelength. You want to make sure it actually will work with that wavelength. Clear, it'll pass right through. It's zero protection. That's why you can't engrave or cut it with a diode. All right, I'm going to switch mics here real quick.
I got to make sure I get mine set up. It may have been that my mic on my computer was still on. I didn't think about that.
Do it.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Switching yours then, or
hang on, let me just see if this works. How about now? Can y'all hear me just on my microphone, or am I still getting on Steve's? Yeah, I bet that's what it was. My computer was picking it up too, because because you had the mic, it didn't swap over. Is that better on the audio now? Fred Hallman saying yes. I'm assuming that means that did correct the audio issue. Okay, Chris says it's good.
all right, how about if I unmute? Does it get weird?
How about now?
Let us know if it's okay now that we've got both of them on. We'll give it a little 20-second delay here.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll run it this way. Y'all let us know if the audio gets weird again. He said just loud. Let me see if that's
we might need to switch to both, because now we're in the same situation because there's two mics in the room. We'll see.
They're saying
if you start hearing an echo, because there's usually a stream delay here. But yeah, anyway, we'll roll with this. Hopefully it works. So that way I don't have to keep clicking mute and unmute. But
see, I've got the echo cancellation turned on in Streamlabs, as well as the reduced background noise. And when you're talking on my little graph here, it's not picking you up. So
they say I'm loud. Let me see if I can. Mic settings. It's automatic. It's supposed to automatically adjust. I can uncheck that.
Yeah.
All right. We'll. I don't have my normal mixer slider that I can do it on the fly.
Yeah, it's harder to set everything up when we're
okay.
Not in our usual spots, because we're trying to balance. Because literally he's right there. So yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, we could be making.
I think they're saying I think you're just a little louder. Yeah, like right here. I think they're saying you're just a little louder, but some of them saying the audio is good. So I wouldn't stress too much about it, but you could bump it down if you needed to.
Well, I bumped it down a little bit. Hopefully it's not too quiet. It's good.
Yeah, but this is like I said, this is not our usual setup. Okay, they're saying we both sound good now. So there we go.
It may have been that both the other mics are over sitting by here. We're a whole mess. Anyway. It's very clear, so that's good.
Yeah. So
good
this
audio.
Is y'all know I like the DJIs. That's what I'm running tonight, and because it just plugs into the back of my laptop, and it's pretty cool. So everybody's saying perfect now, so we're good.
All right.
That was what it was.
So
It
I'm
could have been
using,
my fault for having my
yeah, it was probably your laptop.
audio turned on.
These are like the cheap option. It's from Hollyland, and it's USB-C input, and then it's got 2 wireless mics, which generally works well too. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Clack can't roll around. He's on a folding chair.
No, my chair ain't got no wheels today. I'm sitting in like this is let me show y'all. This is a classic. This is the kind of chair that I get when I come to Vintauri's workshop.
Hey, you don't want people to get too comfortable.
Oh, but yeah. No, it's like I said, it's I think he cleaned it up a little bit in here because it's not near as dusty as my shop. And I've been pilfering with some of the stuff he's got. This is the first time I ever saw the X-Tool P3 like in person. That thing's big. Like it's a good sized machine. So, and then the OhmTech machine, that's a big one. So, yeah, it's been an experience for sure. What am I getting? I'm getting text messages.
But the other thing I was working on is you might see back there is the IKEA Master is now on the riser base, and so I haven't had a whole lot. I did put out I think it was a Facebook quick short video, just initial testing. I threw some blue tape on a tumbler, ran it through with their chuck rotary, and it printed out text, and was looking good. So hopefully after the whole meetup, maybe next week, I'll be working on that. But I've got multiple things going on with the OhmTech RF laser, and then this pile of boxes, which is my new Onefinity. Speaking of that, again, if you're coming to the meetup, I'm giving away 8 machines, but I have a couple machines that I'm going to try to recoup some value out of because they're actual ones I paid for and such. So I have a Gen 1 Onefinity Journeyman. If you're interested, talk to me about it. I can maybe make you a really good deal on it. So
yeah, he's trying to clear out some space here. So
tore that apart so I could start working on that. I'm going to get that assembled. There'll be a lot more content around that as well coming. So a lot of things moving in my shop and trying to keep on top of them.
Yeah, it gets crowded, and that's one of the things. And I got client always gives me a hard time talking about you got too many toys, But it does get to where you run out of space for a lot of this stuff. And I know me and Steve both like to be able to get back to you guys so that y'all can use some of the stuff, especially the free stuff. Now, sometimes we may need to recoup a little bit of money if we have expenses tied up in it or whatever, but I know I've put out some really good deals on some gear down my way. And this is Steve's way of trying to clear out some space and give back to other folks that do what we do. Because, there's a lot of people out there that would love to have a Onefinity, but really don't have the budget for it per se. And then this one, yes, a used machine, but for a good enough price, it cuts just as good as a new one. So that's where, and instead of just putting it on marketplace for somebody to buy it and then turn around and resell it at a higher price, it's better to give it to somebody that is going to use it. And that's kind of the way I am with my stuff too.
All right, we'll jump in with some real questions too, but we'll sprinkle in some of the other fun Minnesota stuff here. Maui WH. I have 2 lasers, the F2 Ultra UV and the F2. My question is, I'm an amateur per se, and I'm interested in getting a flatbed laser with a honeycomb base. What would you recommend for an all-around? If you're wanting to just kind of dive into, a flatbed laser for cutting, natural materials and such, of course, diodes work very well. If you're in the X-Tool environment, they have the S1. It's been out for a while, and it's a decent laser. My only caution there would be it's been out for a while. There is the chance that they could kick out an update. So, that's just something to be concerned about. Other options, things we've recently looked at, the Alien Cell X1 is a very nice laser if you kind of want to jump into the bigger size and maybe a little more power. That one does work pretty well. It's they have 20, 40, and 60 watt modules for it, and they're supposed to be releasing like a riser base here shortly. They're rotary, so they're continuing to develop that one, and it's got a very similar interface with their software as does the X tool. But yeah, those are a couple of like the diode ones that I would go with. You could definitely find, cheaper ones if you want to just kind of dip your toe in. The Creality Falcon A1 Pro that I looked at, that's like a sub 1000. It's fully enclosed, has a camera. It's a little less working area and 20 watts power, so a little bit lighter, but that's a decent one that doesn't have quite the cost of those other two as well. But there's a lot of videos we have on some of those. So, I would definitely probably get something that's enclosed so you don't have to build an enclosure. And most of those will come with either a slap bed and or a honeycomb as well.
Yeah, they said something about the audio was
Somebody saying the audio was messing up again. I don't know what's going on.
All right. Well,
So if you want to try to do your other one again, or you want to put this one over there and try it.
let's try just jumping to one.
Yeah. You can try that one and we'll see if that works better. It is very unique. I mean, because we had talked about we could technically just both use one camera, but then it would, it'd have one of us doing the comments. And so
All right. So hopefully now I'm on yours and I've muted myself. So hopefully they can hear it. It's just coming across yours.
yeah, it should be, because I think I've got my mic set to mono, so it should just be one channel. So it shouldn't differentiate between which one of us is talking. So how about that, guys?
We'll have it figured out by the end of the live.
Is the audio better now? Because like I said, this is something we've never done. We've never been in the same room together.
Well, not from up here.
Okay, Billy's saying it sounds good now. So
All right. Yeah. Audio just cleared up. Sounds good. All right. We'll roll with this setup now.
yeah, we'll leave it like it is. But what it was earlier, I think, was because I had my audio still unmuted. I didn't realize it. All right, we got good thumbs up.
What are your thoughts on a flat
Okay.
laser?
Interested in a with a honeycomb base. What do you recommend for all around? He has the F2 Ultra UV and a F2. If you like the X tool ecosystem, I mean, P2 and the S1 would be, a good mate to that. Depending on your budget, software needs, and all that. If you're just looking for something, it depends on what you're going to do with it. And that's what I try to tell people a lot is my pick would depend on what you're going to do. If you're doing, if you're wanting to do tumblers, then obviously my recommendation is going to be a CO2, because it takes a lot of the headache out of doing tumblers. Not that you can't do them with a blue diode, you can, and you can do some really good work, but it's just a lot more headache than a CO2. And if you're going to cut acrylic, of course, that's going to limit you. So you kind of decide what you're going to do with the laser, and then which way you want to proceed from there, in my opinion, because you're going to have to figure out what wavelength you need, whether you need a blue, whether you need a CO2. Then you're going to have to decide, okay, how big a work area do you need? Because the bigger the work area, typically speaking, the more the machine's going to cost. So those are the biggest things that affect your decision should be the type of wavelength machine you need and the amount of work area. Because if you're only doing like 12-inch items, you can shrink the machine and get by with a lot less expense. So I think some of the recent machines that we've looked at as far as the blues, the Alien Cell is a really good one for somebody to get started with, I think. The Laser Pecker LX2, I like that machine. Creality has the A1 and the A1 Pro. Those are decent, like smaller work area, but those are all blue lasers. So if you're needing like a CO2, then like I said, it depends on what you're wanting to get into it for. Whether you're wanting to do tumblers or rotary work or just flat sheet goods. Because if you're doing sheet goods, just doing flat work with a CO2, there are budget machines out there that'll do the job and do it well, and you still have money left over to, buy accessories or whatever. So just depends.
Cool. Santa's Laser Engraving says, after the work this weekend, hope to assemble the 4040 Max this week. I have a little experience using one, but it was years ago. So what software would you recommend, and do I need to use G-Sender? So he's switching around. You don't need to use GSender. You do need to use some sort of CAM software and some control software. So there's the designing the files, and that's more your CAD. That needs to convert it into G code. And then your CAM software is going to control the machine. GSender is a good one for the GRBL devices. It's free. It's fairly well fully functioned. But there are other options out there. There's Candle and what was the other one?
Crap.
Anyway, there's a couple that come on the
there's
drive, but
Candle's probably the more popular one.
yeah, UGS, Universal
UGS,
GSender.
yeah.
So those are some of the free popular ones. There, of course, you can directly control it out of like Easel. I did a video on that with the 4040 Pro Max. That's a subscription thing. And then there's what is it? Carbide Create.
Carbide
There you can
to control, like for the control software.
No, I think. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't.
I haven't tried it with anything
So-
other than Spoco.
But yeah, you still need to have something to make the software, and that's where some of the others like Carbide and Easel does both. It's a web-based. You use a driver plugin to control the device, but and then of course VCarve is kind of the one we like to use a lot. You can get by with a desktop version of VCarve there, but yeah, you will need some sort of control software. You can of course use their wireless adapter and the mobile app. It's kind of a little janky in the fact that you got to then transfer your files to your smartphone somehow. I did that with an iPhone and just sharing it with the Apple Drive and such. But yeah, my preferred is using GSender on the GRBL devices.
Yeah. Mark's asking, do either Clack or Steve have any experience with CO2 with the RF tube laser? My experience up to this point has been limited to my friend Tim's Thunderbolt, and I've ran it, used it, helped him do some stuff with it, and configured it. It's not like I ran it like every day or anything, but I go by there typically about once a week, and like he has new employees come in and they have questions or whatever. I'll give them a quick lesson, help adjust the machine, do some material testing and stuff like that. So I've got limited experience with an RF machine in the form of the Thunderbolt, but I may have a RF machine coming to the shop soon. From what I was told, I should have, but I can't say for sure because I haven't got a tracking number yet. But there's a company it's been around for a while. They kind of went dark for a little while and kind of just, I don't know that they went dark necessarily, but they kind of fell out of the limelight for a little while. But now they're starting to make machines again, and they've reached out to me, and they say they're going to send it, so we'll find out. But I may have a RF CO2 in my shop soon. And one of the things that's important to me, of course, is tumblers, because I enjoy doing tumblers. I have customers that want me to do tumblers. And so this machine will do tumblers without having to have a riser installed and all this kind of stuff, from what I can tell. If you're going to do the 40 ounces, I think you have to have a riser, but it's going to be cool to see if it shows up. And I know Steve actually may have some experience with that too. So I'll let him speak on that one.
Yeah. So I dropped a was it on Facebook? I dropped a teaser, and I also in my channel member update I talked about this, but I do have the OhmTech Polar 2, which is a 50 watt RF laser. So this is new into the shop as a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Previous to this, a long time ago, I used a Universal Systems like 25 watt. It was a much smaller. That was an RF CO2. So haven't used one in a while. This one is obviously a lot different and newer, but just kind of got it tuned up, got it set up and working. And so I did some tests with it for. I made all the hat patches. So I think I threw together a YouTube short video on the hat patches. I did all of those with it, and I've done some basic cut tests on like 3mm Baltic birch and things like that. So So I'll have stuff out on that soon, probably in a couple weeks, because I want to do some thorough testing on it and such. But yeah, that one is in the shop, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I thought you had made it public, but I wasn't 100% sure how much you had made public. But yeah, it's a nice machine. It's a nice looking machine. I saw it when I got here because I had the OhmTech Polar Plus, and this kind of looks like you took the OhmTech Polar Plus and hit it with like an expansion ray, and it like because it's much bigger. There are some things that I do like about this one, the way that they've got it set up. Better. One of the biggest things that I've noticed about this machine, as opposed to a lot of them, is the e-stop is actually on the front of the machine where you can get to it.
It's actually your power button too.
Yeah,
There is
so-
no other. You hit e-stop to shut it off, and you twist it to turn it on. And it's up front, easy to get at, but it's not in the way.
Yeah. So I mean, from what I can tell, I kind of like the machine. I'm waiting to see a little more information from Steve. But yeah, good looking machine.
Yeah.
Seth said, Clack, nice Vanna White impression. Yeah, I would get up and like prance, but y'all wouldn't enjoy that.
I don't know. They always like to see you dance, you know.
Yeah, well, there was that one time I danced, and I may do it again. And when I hit, if I can ever get to 100,000 subscribers, I might dance again. I might even put on a hula skirt for you guys and dance.
Oof. I'm gonna call in sick that day.
Oh, but yeah. Let's see. If that new RF, I didn't catch. Fred saying is if that new RF laser from OhmTech, I didn't catch it.
Yep.
If that's what.
Yeah,
you said.
it's the new. So the OhmTech Polar 2 is, they have two versions of it. They have the 50 or 55 watt RF, and then they have the 70 watt glass tube. But yeah, the one I have in here is the RF, and it has the big module in the back with all the fans and such. So it's not liquid cooled; it's air cooled, which is nice because you get fewer temperature swings. It's kind of, it controls itself and such.
Oh,
The tubes last a lot longer, so there's definitely a benefit to them. They also have a finer spot size, and they vary from RF laser to laser, and for different modules as sources, as well as the focal lens they use. I would equate this one, the beam size and the curve to this one. I haven't done a lot of testing, but I would say it's a lot closer to like a 10 to 20 watt diode, which is a lot smaller than your typical CO2, but it's not necessarily like pinpoint sharp. So, but yeah, we'll see. More testing to do on that.
Yep. Well, all right. Before we forget, guys, there's 155 people is what I'm showing is watching. So if you hadn't already, hit the thumbs up, follow, like, share, subscribe, all those cool things. So I haven't looked at the internet here's. I don't want to go pulling too many tabs on the computer, so I haven't looked to see. But just make sure if you hadn't, you do, because like I said, we're trying to bring this thing up and do more with it. And yeah, so I'm still looking forward for tomorrow. I'm really excited about tomorrow. I ain't gonna lie. I got to meet a couple of people today, and let me find my pictures here. I got to meet a couple of people today in the mall here in Mankato, and Steve, y'all heard Steve talk about them, and I had too, but it's Minnesota Makers. That was a cool store. So if you're in the area and you've never been there, go check it out, because I'm going to say it's kind of like a booth type store. I've heard a lot of people talking about those, but it's not a booth. Like the way they got it working is basically they have makers in the area that provide them with things that they make. And when they take in your inventory, that they scan it, put a SKU in the computer or whatever, they know who that belongs to. They track everything on the back end. So when you walk into the store, it's kind of like that Cracker Barrel old family store experience, to where they have just the different things, just kind of like it's just there. And it's not like it's a booth here and a booth there. I was really impressed the way that they did that. If I were gonna put in a store and do like maker stuff, that would be a good model in my opinion to look at, because it was awesome. Like the way they had it laid out, They had a couple of lasers in there. They do sublimation. They do a bunch of other stuff. It was really nice. So we don't have anything like that back home. And so I told Steve while I was up here, I definitely want to go see that place. And it did not disappoint. And I think the lady and one of the makers from the establishment will be there tomorrow at the event. So that's kind of cool. So
Yeah.
I can't remember
And,
her name now. Michelle, maybe?
Yeah, I believe it's Michelle. And then right next to them is the 3D Inked, is the 3D printing store, and they have a bunch
Yeah.
of filament on the back row, and they sell a lot of prints as well. So it's kind of nice that they're right next to each other there
Yeah.
at the local mall.
That's it. Michelle and Paul was her husband's name. I don't think he's going to be there tomorrow, but she said her and a friend of hers was going to be there. So it was kind of cool. Like I said, I especially in a mall like that, that's pretty impressive. And they had some really nice stuff. Like I'm talking about nice stuff. So
All right, Rob Fight's asking, I'm using Alien Cell Space and imported an SVG, and when I turn on fill, it fills the entire image even after ungrouping. It still does it. So let me see if I can show you really quick. I better do entire screen just to be sure. All right, so we're here in Alien Cell Creative Space or Alien Cell Space, and I've imported an SVG. So as you see, they're grouped right now. So of course you said you ungrouped them. And you can tell here also that they're ungrouped. But when you come over here and hit fill, it's making that whole thing solid, even though it's not, it should just be these lines here. So what you might do is there's a couple things you can try. The easiest one is the flatten multiple vectors. And this tries to put it down into one layer. So if you click on that, now it's one solid piece. You can see as I mouse over it, everything's highlighting. And now when I click fill, it does it right. The other thing you can play around with is the Boolean features over here, where you can do the intersect, subtract, and exclude. But usually when you do that, you have to just select like two vectors. So it'd have to be like this one and this one. You'd have to do the like the intersect one. That would be the exclude, wouldn't it? And then that should have the same effect that way.
yeah, and the beauty of it too is when you're doing that, you can either copy and paste your graphic, and so that if you mess it up, you can just delete that one and start over, or you can just hit the undo button. So, but yeah, that happens a lot. You can like a lot of times there's actually two different types of SVG files I have learned. Inkscape is one of the programs too that's pretty good. If you have a file that's really complex that would be take a little while to do that kind of stuff, you can actually open them in Inkscape, and then you can save them as like a plain SVG, and a lot of times it'll fix some of that stuff. If those tools don't fix it, that's the easiest way, like Steve showed you with the tool to do it. But I've had a couple of them that were really complex, and it was like, you know what? I just opened it in Inkscape, saved it as a standard SVG or whatever, and the lines came out fine then. So
we forgot to turn on the comments, so I just.
Oh, we did forget to turn the comments on. Oops.
But,
well, like I said, we are totally out of our element, and the microphone thing kind of had us messed up too.
Yeah, but anyway, those are back on. Now you can see from both of them.
Oh, but yeah.
You've had a little more experience with this, but Rob Wilson's asking any suggestions for a fiber for deep metal engraving and manufacturer, perhaps.
I've got a few. I've used them. I'm not like end all be all, not a pro necessarily at the metal engravings. Like I said, I've got a 60-watt OhmTech. I've got a 30-watt Monport. I'll now have the 60-watt Gwick. So, and I've got, I've had, of course, the X-Tool machines and stuff. If you're wanting to get into really deep engraving, the MOPAs are better because it gives you one more variable to adjust to try to penetrate deeper into the material, and you can also do color and stuff. Color is one of those things. If you want to play with it, fine. But to me, it's not something that I lean into. but the MOPA, one of the side effects of a MOPA is too, you can regulate some of the frequencies and stuff like that, and you can do deeper engraving quicker. If you're doing really deep, 60 to 100 watts is pretty much where I would look at being. You can do it with a 30 watt, but it's going to take substantially longer. But I don't do a lot of it. I just do it testing and playing around. And occasionally I have somebody ask me, hey, can you make this? And I'll do it. But that's not something that I lean into for like supporting my business. Like if I quit metal engraving altogether, it would have like very little impact on my business because I just don't do that much of it. It's not one of my staples because it's time consuming. The blanks are more expensive. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I don't fool with it as much. Hey, did you say you had that tea over there? I'm gonna try it since you said I had to.
All right.
I don't know if this ain't actually real tea. I don't think, but we're gonna try it.
It's real tea.
He said it's
It
extra
says there on the
sweet.
label, real brewed tea.
He believes everything you put on the label. Let's see how sweet this is. Am I supposed to shake this up?
No. Well, I don't know. I don't
I was
drink
gonna
it.
say, let me shake it up because a lot of times you're supposed to shake it up because it'll like have nasty stuff in the bottom.
Well, that's what happens when you add sugar to tea.
Yeah.
Maui WH is asking, is there one sort of laser safety glasses that can be used for every type of laser? No, because there's such a broad variety of wavelengths that they can't. There are some that will combine a couple. So, for example, these free mascot ones, and you won't be able to see it, but they have the rating right up here. And so it's for 190 to 550 and 800 to 1100 nanometers. So this would cover your blue diode, as well as your IR wavelengths. But if you get into CO2, it's like 10,000 some odd wavelength, and so you need a different type of glasses for those. So you definitely want something that has that rating and what the actual wavelength they are protected for and tested against. But you're not going to find one necessarily that does them all. And if you do, they're going to be very expensive.
It would look like that thing at the eye doctors were like there.
Yep. So
yeah.
And like get a good pair for CO2. This combined pair, I mean, they're like $50 on Amazon, the free mascot brand. They're really good as far as balance of cost to what they protect from. And for $50, that's hardly a copay on a optometrist visit. So
yeah. Led Zepp 331 says, hope everyone's doing well. Just dropped in before the England game. Question, who is going to be the next Rolly when it comes to customer support? And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know that any of the companies, I mean, because Leo, it was a very, very small company, very, very few employees. And he took a real interest in making sure that it, worked the way that it should. But I think that's a really high bar for most companies, from what I see with most companies. Even because a lot of times if a machine had problems, he would just like replace it, like no questions asked or whatever. And although that is great from a consumer standpoint, from a business standpoint, if you get a few people that maybe forget to plug something in and you're sending parts out, without following up a whole lot, it could get expensive and it could be very damaging for your business. So I don't know that anybody will ever have that level of support, but there are lots of companies out there that I would consider to be acceptable, unless you find an individual. I don't know that you're ever going to get that level. I do know that there's some things coming out and some machines coming out that have advanced far beyond what was possible when the Rolly came out. Like some of these, even like that laser picker, the LP machine, the LX2 that me and Steve's been looking at, some of the stuff that these machines are doing now for the budget that they're doing it, there's some pretty cool stuff out there. Like a lot of the machines now are going to the Core XY setup and they're faster. They've got automatic Z's, automatic air assist, automatic, smoke purification. Like it evolving. And like I said, there's some new machines that's fixing to come out that I think are going to shift some of the dynamics as well that, we can't necessarily get into the specifics, but you're fixing to see some more shifting in the line of hobbyist slash, light production machines, I think. So what do you think, Steve? What is your take on that situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's that bar was set pretty high by them, and it's expensive to meet. Um,
Mhm.
I have some hopes for some certain manufacturers, um, but also, as they grow in numbers of products and just number of customers, support is one of those things that doesn't always grow with them because it doesn't make money. It just keeps them from losing money. It's an expense. It's a needed expense, and so they're always trying to balance like how much support do they need, and they try to reduce those costs whenever possible. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It can also be very hit or miss. Some people have really great experiences with the company, and the next person just has a horrible experience with the company. So,
Well,
um,
and sometimes the person can you and I've done it. I've called a company and been frustrated when I called them, and I've talked myself into some really bad customer support because I was a really bad customer that day.
mhm.
And then I've turned around and called back when I wasn't quite as bad of a customer and I had better customer support. So a lot of times too, that is the case. Because trust me, y'all know me. Like I'll refund your money on Etsy in a heartbeat. Like if there's a problem and it's anyway my fault, I'll make it right. But go look at my Etsy shop. I got a few reviews on there where they're like, he refused to help me and the product's terrible and blah blah blah. But yet I sold 5,000 of them and have 5-star reviews. And this one guy says that my file's garbage. I mean, come on. Like, I didn't take statistics in college, but pretty good odds if 5,000 people bought the file and it's got 5-star reviews, the problem might not be the file. It might be the guy behind the mouse. So, I've had those people like, man, your support's horrible, blah blah blah. And I'm like, and I'll refund their money and be like, look, guys, I'm sorry, the file is correct. I've helped you because it's like we're going into like day 3 and day 4 of me trying to spoon feed somebody how to open this file, and he's like, my computer won't even recognize it, and I'm like, it's a zip file. You have to unzip it. And the next thing I know, I get a 1-star review. Shop owner's a butthole, told me to take my business elsewhere, which I did tell him that after he got an attitude with me, but he left that part out. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
when somebody basically tells me, hey, this product's garbage and shouldn't be on Etsy, when I know it's not, I'm going to tell you, hey, kick rocks, go somewhere else. Here's your money back, go somewhere else.
Yeah,
And
basically, I mean,
and I mean, I hate it. And I even appealed the comment to Etsy because I'm like, this guy, you can see the comments that he sent to me. Like he was aggressive with me when he first reached out and asked for help, but yet I tried to help him. But then after 3 days of back and forth, I'm like, look, guys, I mean, it's a $2 file, okay? And I've spent 3 days trying to help you open it. At this point, I'm cutting my losses. I mean, I can't stay in business if I give you like if I teach you from the time you open the box to the time you burn the file, if it takes me 6 months to teach you how to use a $2 file, I'm losing money. You know what I mean? So it still is a business. I like helping people, but I like helping people that have good attitudes.
yeah, going into it as a customer, and usually when you're needing support, you're frustrated. But if you can go into it not as a bull in a china shop, but honestly looking for support and understanding that they might be having a bad day too. They might be dealing with stuff. Um, if you go in as a bull in a china shop, they're going to do the minimum they need to do just to get rid of you because they know they've lost you. If you go in and saying, "Hey, I'm having a problem. I need your help," and give them as much information as you can. Take good photos, take even some video, figure out how to share that with them. That's going to accelerate them understanding the problem, and then hopefully accelerate the resolution. So
Yeah.
yeah, but again, it's just customer support, tech support is just it's a there is no there is a return on investment, but it isn't bringing in dollars to the company. It's just a cost.
Yeah.
So they have to balance that out. Like Clack was saying, sometimes they're just like, well, we got to cut our losses on this one.
Yeah. I mean, you can't make everyone completely happy. If you can make 90% of the people happy 90% of the time, you're doing good. So I mean, you're never going to make everyone happy. And people are going to have bad days. You're going to have bad days, especially when you're like me, because a lot of times, like I had some folks reaching out to me while I was trying to get ready for Peach Jam, and I was cramming. Like, I'm trying to get jobs out. I'm trying to get the trailer loaded. I'm trying, and it was a little, because it's like, hey, how do I do this? And I'm trying to help people out because that's what I do. I enjoy that, and I give them advice. And then they're like, oh, that doesn't work. And I'm like, yeah, that does work. You're missing a step somewhere. And so I send them a video, or whatever. But at times, you kind of want to be like, okay, look, you're not getting it, move on. But you have to kind of like look at it from, what's simple to me is not necessarily simple to other people. And I do what I do because I like to help people. And so, but sometimes I just have to kind of like sit back and look at it from across the room to realize that this person's struggling, and I'm probably not going to be able to help them. So I'm just going to be nice and give them some information that they can study. And sometimes that's the best I can do for you, because like it's like if Steve was trying to teach me how to do the model airplane stuff that he did, or whatever you want to call it, the foam flight stuff. I don't know nothing about that. So that's something that would lead to quick frustration on my part, possibly. So, but yeah, Rob says that the flattening thing worked perfectly. So thanks for that.
Good to hear. Seth Rosenberg's asking, I have many requests to laser engrave house numbers into granite. Can you give me some direction on equipment to do this? Note the stuff is outside. Is it flat, as in if it's something you can set a laser on, I would probably be looking at some sort of portable-ish fiber. If it's a slab, you can move to the machine. CO2s are also great at that, or better than some of your other options anyway. But if it's something that you have to kind of take the machine to it, you're gonna be wanting to look at one of the kind of the Galvo fibers that has more of the handheld portable mode. And in that case, it's also going to be one of those, the higher power, the faster you're going to be able to get some depth to it kind of scenario.
Yeah, and with the Galvo too, you're going to have to walk the focus down possibly to get significant depth. Santa said that I swish the tea around before swallowing, and yeah, I'm a professional tea taster. So you have to swish it, smell it. You have to let the flavor kind of flow, and then you can fully taste the tea. So yeah, I'm a professional tea taster. What can I say?
I mean, it's a quick trip iced tea. Yeah, it's not like
it's fancy iced tea.
Okay.
It's pretty decent.
Right.
It's got a little more lemon to it, and that's kind of what I was talking.
Right.
It has that lemony, like lemon-esque, flavor. But yeah.
Had to try something.
Yeah. I don't know if did we answer this one already? Russ is saying, if you were to purchase a new 40-watt diode, which one would you buy? Because that's a loaded question. That's because there's several good ones out right now.
Yeah, there's some good ones, and I think it really goes to what you're wanting to do with it. If you're just wanting to work with flat stock, and have a good balance of cutting and engraving, I think the Alien Cell X1 has a nice big working area. It's fast for the engraving. The 40-watt does. I've been pretty impressed with how it cuts, and their air pump is really nice. But if you need something with a little more depth to it, I mean, they are coming out with a riser base, but I can't speak to that. I haven't seen one yet, and I don't have one yet. If you need something with a little more depth to it, the LaserPecker LX2 has a little more depth, and the X2S1, if you get the riser base, has a little more depth. Trying to think of other ones that are out there that we've looked at.
The LX2 does a good job for 40-watt. The Alien Cell, you said that one. And the LX2, they're supposed to be coming out with a 60-watt also for it, correct?
They do have a 60-watt module for that one.
They haven't sent me that one yet. So I mean, but it's a good sized machine, but it's the work area is not as big as, say, the Alien Cell. But
you kind of give a width, but
you got to decide: do you need that? Do you need the machine to be that big? Because the LX2 also, like I said, it has some features similar to the Alien Cell, but I think it's a good bit cheaper. It just depends on It depends on the environment. Depends on what you want to get into it for. But I'm happy with the Alien Cell. I'm happy with the LX2 so far. I use the Alien Cell more up to this point, but they're very similar.
So Seth Rosenberg brought up longer B1. You don't mention longer anymore. I guess for the most part, for me, recommending lasers to people, unless they have a specific case use for an open frame laser, I tend to steer them to the ones that have the enclosure kind of already. Not to say that open frame lasers don't have their place anymore, but you definitely hit now. You get that open frame laser, you do need to figure out what are you enclosing it in for your typical use. So yeah, they're not necessarily coming first to mind on that, but as far as a budget decent laser, that one is pretty good.
Yeah. Well, the like I said, I like my Atom Stack X40 and I like the open frame machines, but most people nowadays are wanting the enclosed ones. And I'm gonna be honest with you, unless if they don't refresh the controller and stuff like that on the B1, they're the B1, the D1, even the Atom Stack X A series machines, the speed is these new Core XY machines and some of these new different controller machines are so much faster than like the original D1. Like the original D1 right now would be a total like just snail as far as like speed. Even my X40 is getting really, really slow compared to like the Alien Cell, the LX2, some of the newer machines. Like it moves so slow, like white space scanning and just from point to point during the job that they're gonna have to redo some stuff on them if they want to stay relevant long term, in my opinion. The only benefit is budget with some of those machines. You can get them cheaper, but the B1 is not that much more cheaper. By the time you add an enclosure and honeycomb and air assist and all that, it's not going to be that much cheaper than some of these new enclosed machines. So the manufacturers are going to have to pivot a little bit, in my opinion, because the market's been moving so fast. And now with these Core XY machines coming out, they're really changing like speed. Because I mean, like some of these new Core XY machines, the module moves so fast. Like when you start a job, that if you blink, you miss it. Like it's like they're fast. So I still like my open frame machines, but my situation is different than most people these days.
Yeah. Well, and there's fewer places. I mean, other the enclosure, the commercially available enclosures, unless you still want to grab one of those kind of fabric ones. I mean, they're not cheap, and so you either need to be skilled and be able to build one, like you say, and we've looked at some of them because like they'll want us to look at like with the Atom Stack Glacier, they sent the big enclosures and such. And I've looked at some others that have come and gone, like the Great Carved one, and that was the biggest comment on all of them. That is ridiculously expensive. I could build it for less. I'm like, yes, you can, but you also need to be honest about the cost of building that.
Yeah.
It's not insignificant. You may have plywood sitting around and such you can use, but that's still something you paid for. So
Yeah. Well, it's just like now I was trying to think about the longer B1 is, like I said, it's a quick machine, but if you put the longer B1 next to the ASMR 48 watt, whatever that, I can't remember the model designation. Is it the P2, P3?
P3.
You put them two machines side by side, and the P3 is an open gantry style, but it's got a built-on enclosure, built-in air assist, built-in honeycomb, and the speeds on it are faster than the longer. So I mean, there's the gap has been tightened on some of the open frame machines, and I like them. I think there's a place for them. Not everybody wants an enclosed machine, but they do need to address some of the new technology with some of those machines to stay relevant in the market. So Santa says, didn't Rolly offer to share the data for the flying galvo they were working on? I never saw anyone ever picked it up. A cell laser has been working on one for a while. and I know there's at least one more company that's working on one. So the technology is out there. I think the problem right now is where does it fit in the work areas in the laser world? Because yes, it's cool that you can do all that, but can you do all that and make it affordable enough to be chosen over other options? So I think that's. But I know a cell laser. Me and Steve got to see that machine at CES, and it was doing stuff, but it was doing like the same stuff at every demo video we had saw. It was doing the same files, and like they had the place to place the material was marked on the spoil board and everything. So it was kind of like, yes, it does stuff, but it looked like it was still being worked on.
Yeah.
So I know they're supposed to be getting closer. Have you heard a date?
I'll be honest, I haven't followed it as closely. I think it's cool technology, but I don't know, and I haven't followed as closely. The one thing that I haven't seen is it's cutting, how it's doing the cutting. As an engraving machine, sure, it's nice because it's mixing the speed of a galvo with this working area of a gantry machine. But being able to see it actually drop a file in and do some cutting as well would be, like you say, we kind of saw some very tailored items
Yeah.
to it. As far as Rolly, I know Leo was very impressed with Alien Cell. I think Chris mentioned something there as that they might be trying to get him to work with them, but he's, between his time and family stuff, it's probably slow going. But who knows? It'll be interesting to see that technology develop and if it catches on as a viable tool for people.
Yep.
Neil Marby is saying, I'm trying to use Lightburn on 2 different lasers. I can get one camera to work on one, but the camera on the other one I can't load. I try, but that one, the one that is detected is the one that is set up. If a couple different things that come to mind, if they are like the same brand and the camera appears as the same, like the same manufacturer and everything, sometimes the computer has a trouble differentiating between the two. Also, if they are plugged in on the same USB port, like if you run it through a hub, cameras use a little bit more bandwidth, and they don't always like to be shared on a port. So you may need to see if you can move some things around, get it on a different port straight into the computer for it to detect. Even like on the OhmTech Polar 2, I can't have the laser and the camera plugged into a USB hub. They conflict and they kind of detect and disconnect and whatnot. So try to separate them out, but also you may need to look at possibly renaming one of the cameras within like the device manager or something, so that Lightburn can differentiate between the two. What do you got thoughts?
Yeah. Sometimes you may want to unplug that one camera temporarily and then just make sure that you've got the other one set the way you want it and then plug it in, because sometimes Lightburn can kind of like bogart the cameras. Typically between tabs, I don't have that problem, but it could be. So I would first, without the cameras connected to Lightburn or anything like that, open up the camera app on your computer. Like if you go down in the little search box and type in camera, and just confirm there that you can see the camera. And as long as you can see the camera and see the camera feed there, it's not a hardware issue with your computer. It's going to be more of a Lightburn problem. And as long as it's just a Lightburn problem, I think that'll resolve itself. Maybe a power reboot or something. Because typically, if your camera app in Windows can see the camera, Lightburn will connect to it. But like Steve said, it could be a USB problem too, especially if the cable coming from your camera, if you look at it and it's blue, which means it's USB 3, you're going to want to plug that straight into your computer or either into a USB 3 capable extension or hub, but don't plug another camera into it. If it's a black or a white one, then you're probably okay to run it on a hub, and you could probably run a couple of them, but USB 3, typically you're only going to get one per port on your computer. Any more than that, and one's gonna not work. Like you only work one of them at a time, and your computer's doing that, not Lightburn. So, but yeah, that would, like you said, some cameras don't play well with hubs.
Yep.
Doom, 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 doom. Let's see what we got here. Trying to go through these comments. My screen's a lot smaller, and I don't have two of them.
Mark Tucson says, I'm building a cabinet for the shop because the only commercial one I could find was $3,000 for a 16-inch wide and 31-inch tall. The time it is taking is not cost effective, except for the high cost one I found. Yeah, the material costs have just gotten ridiculous over the past 5-6 years. What I used to just go and grab a sheet of plywood and just cut some parts out, I start going, I'm like, do I need it to be 3/4 or can I get by with half? Or it's so it's doing it yourself lets you do a lot of customization, and you can save a little bit there, but it's still not necessarily what I would call cheap. So
Yeah, look at there, Mr. Ryan Ballard. I tell you, that fella right there stays on the road. He just might as well get him a job as like a door-to-door salesman because he ain't never at home. Like every time I turn around, he's either down there visiting with the mouse or
well, he's got to keep up on all the
somewhere
Facebook marketplaces.
watching men in tight pants playing a ring together. Like he's always doing something.
Yeah. Yup.
Living the dream. Living the dream.
Lance Randy says, hey, all looking forward to tomorrow. It's a little longer of a drive, but not too bad. It'll be fun, and I can get caught up on some podcasts. That's why I do have a number of podcasts I subscribe to, and yeah, I save them up sometimes when I know I have a road trip coming up, and then I'll listen to them on the road. So definitely a good way to pass the time. There's actually one. There's one based out of it's called Bellied Up Podcast, and so it's a couple comedians. One's out of Wisconsin, one's out of Fargo. So they do a whole thing on the Midwest. And I think when I left Clack's house last time, I just started at one of the earlier episodes and just I let that roll the whole time because I was trying to get ahead of an ice storm and I had 16 hours to go, and they kind of kept me laughing. And because they do a call-in thing where they give Midwest guy advice to people that call in. Sometimes it's not the best, I'll tell you that. But drive safe, and we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yeah, everybody's on my tea now. This is something Steve come up with. It's not terrible. It is very sweet though. I don't drink.
Well, it says it's extra sweet.
It is extra sweet.
So I could have gotten you the normal sweet, but
they definitely nailed it with that. It is extra sweet because I can't drink it like I usually do. But he was making fun of me because of my sweet tea. But my wife, bless her heart, she's trying to get me some tea at the cafe we went to, and they're like, "Oh, we have unsweetened tea."
I think they said we've got some with lemon in it or something.
Yeah, we got lemon. And
she's like, "Man, I have water."
Yeah, no, I just like, I'll give me water. I'm good. But yeah, it's pretty much a known fact. There is a certain point where sweet tea is just like something of the past.
Yeah, I think this stuff is bottled through Pepsi. I'm trying to see where it actually.
Yeah, I'm wanting to say it's
New
like
York, maybe.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure we didn't miss any questions. And if we miss your questions or comments or whatever, guys, throw them back up there. If it's a question, throw some question marks in it where we'll see it. Because we don't try to overlook them. Sometimes we miss them, especially today because I'm working on my little screen here on my laptop. It's a good laptop. It works good, but it's not what I'm used to. It's like small screen. So so I may miss the comments because normally I have two screens. I'll have like the chat and everything open in one screen and be able to like look at comments on another. So it's definitely different, but it's working. So we'll get there. Somebody saying Arizona sweet tea.
Brian, yeah, Bellied Up Podcast. So it's Charlie Barons and the You Betcha guy, which is his name's on the tip of my tongue, but yeah, Bellied Up Podcast is a pretty good one especially if you're from the Minnesota, Wisconsin, Midwest area, but especially Minnesota, Wisconsin area. So, because Fargo is basically Minnesota. It's like a river between them and Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, we were looking at some like some of the lay of the land because we would see the signs that was like this city this way, and I'm like, are we really that close to? Then she's like, Brandy pulled it up and be like, yeah, it's not that far. Because I was like, I didn't know we were that close to the Dakotas. For some reason, it just, I guess because it's been a long time since I took like high school U.S. geography or whatever. I just didn't know. I didn't know exactly where everything was over this way.
Yes. So Sioux Falls is just a little over 2 hours from here, I think. 2.5 hours. So you could be in South Dakota that quick. You could be out in you could be at Black Hills in 8 hours from here. You could be at Mount Rushmore in 8 hours.
Yeah, I
Maybe
wasn't sure.
well, maybe 8.5 by time. I mean, definitely Rapid City in 8 hours, but
Yeah.
miles. Thanks, Lance. Yeah.
Don saying, do you guys think the Fox Alien 4-foot by 4-foot machine is worth $1,000? Can you get it for $1,000? It must be a used one.
Depends on which one, because they had some kind of lightweight ones with lightweight spindles.
Yeah.
You definitely want to get something that can handle up to a trim router. Because those other ones will get you started with some basic engraving, but if you want to do cutting, you're going to be taking such shallow passes. The other thing is, a 4x4 CNC, sometimes like the smaller versions, they're nice and tight and they're rigid, but then they spread them out without. Sometimes you got to scale up the machine. You can't just stretch it. You lose a little rigidity in the larger size with the the smaller ones. So it. I mean, considering the Masuda 3S that we have, it's $1,000 for a 400 by 400, and so yours is basically 4 times that size for the same price.
Yeah, like I said, it would depend on the model, I think, too. Because Masuda, I mean, the Fox Alien makes good machines, but I think they do have some really lightweight machines also that they've made over the years. So it kind of depends on which model. But like Steve said, the wider the machine gets, the more rigidity becomes a concern. Because like even though like a foot long, rail may be very rigid, the longer it gets, the easier it is for that pressure to make it twist.
Yep.
Somebody, okay, I think I saw this one earlier. Charles Richardson saying, can you recommend a rotary chuck for a CR10? I'm not sure. CR10, is that a Creality? 10 watt, the old, looks like an Atom Stack A10? Or is that the Creality 3D printer?
Is it Creality? Is there a different?
They had typically the CR is
Creality's
Creality.
a little funky. So they got it's the Creality Falcon. You got to use Creality Falcon.
Okay, it's the Falcon 10 watt.
You can't just search for Creality because I'm like, wait a minute, that's a 3D printer.
That's a standard stepper drive.
Yeah.
2020 extrusion machine, right?
I think this should have, you got the pop-ups. They don't like them.
Yeah, Steve's got the other screen, so I'm letting him pull it up. I can see the screen though.
It should have the stand. Why are these? Boy, it does not want to load this page. Wanted to load the pop-ups, but not the. There we go. I think it's got the standard steppers.
I was gonna say, so probably like, does Creality have a chuck?
They have their, they do.
That's not bad.
So they have their Rotary Kit Pro, which is a chuck rotary, and it has the risers that you probably need. It's $140. We used to like the Atom Stack R1.
Yeah, that looks a lot like it. Only thing I can't tell from here does it have the angular adjustment on the drive side, or is it?
It looks like it'll swivel, but I don't know that it'll angle. So,
yeah. Typically with that machine, if it's one that you can use, like if you can access the steppers and disconnect the steppers, I would imagine it would be very similar to like the Atom Stack machines. Some of the ASMR, a lot of those different machines, as long as the voltages on the steppers are the same, typically you can get away with using most any if you've got the right adapter. Creality does make a chuck for that machine, but like Steve said, it was like $140. But I think it comes with the legs too, though, doesn't it? So that would be another thing, is if you bought another manufacturer's rotary, you've still got to like get the extension legs. So if you do get the CR10 or whatever, I think that looks like this one comes with the extensions that you would need. So that might be a added value for that one. Chris is saying the Creality rotary tilts up only. So most of them only go up, but as long as it goes up, typically that's what you're going to want to do for the tumblers. Because typically the mouth of the tumbler is going to be bigger than the base. So as long as it'll tilt up, it'll allow you to fix the focus issue. But Chris is saying it does tilt up. I don't know if you can. It may not have the same locking mechanism as what we're used to.
Oh yeah, actually, it looks like it. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes their rendered photos.
Yeah, they should probably like point that out, make it a point to show that.
But yeah, for the price and what you get, that's it's made for. Now it's made for the Falcon A1, but I'm not. They're not showing the connectors. They always like to hide.
It's probably going to be, if I were guessing with that A10, it's probably going to be like the Atom Stack is, where it comes with the pigtail where you unplug the stepper and plug it in.
Bigger.
It could have a 5-pin or a 4-pin connector, but I doubt it.
Yeah, it's got a weird. Well, on the stepper it does, but on the machine it looks like it has like a.
Like a specialty plug or
yeah,
something.
it's more of a specialty plug, but
okay, well, yeah, you probably still could do it the other way, but whichever way they've got it set up to go, is probably the way I would go. So you might want to look at the Creality one. See, Mike FD 343 is saying, "Hey, Steve and Clack, have you seen anything on the new Atom Stack Glacier 120 watt?" It's funny you should bring that up. If one of those ropes breaks, it's going to swing over here and hit me in the head. Yeah, Steve and I both have done reviews on the 120 Glaciers. It's a decent machine, but to me, it fits a very specific workspace criteria and use case. If you've got the extra room for it, like my buddy Klein's got mine and he's running it in his shop. He likes it, but he had the room to dedicate to it, and he wanted to be able to cut like bigger like door hangers and stuff. But it takes up a lot of room, so you got to be willing to sacrifice that space. And if you're in a tight space, and if you don't do anything that needs that work area, that can be a bit burdensome. But I mean, it works. Being water cooled, I think, is an advantage as far as keeping it clean.
Yeah, I was gonna say that if you're doing a lot of, if you're putting in some long days and doing some dusty, smoky stuff, it's definitely gonna work longer. Now you're still gonna have to worry about the smoke and debris on other things, rails and belts and stuff like that. But the head's gonna stay more consistently cooled, and it's not blowing air through it, pulling in that particulate and such, making it dirty. So in that vein, it's great. Like Clack was saying, though, it's a big square. It takes up a 4 foot by 4 foot area, and I'd like it if they had the option for, keep it wide but keep it shallow.
Yeah, like that X40 hanging right there,
Yeah.
which is like the best machine I've ever had.
I think then it would be easier to use it more often. As it is, I mean, it would take up the bulk of this assembly table back here. And so it's you kind of, like Clack said, you have to have the space specifically for a larger laser like that. And I just wish they would get back to making those wider.
If it was 850
shallower.
by 500, to me, that would be awesome for what I do. And I think it would be for most people. There are people out there that like because it's almost a 4 foot by 4 foot footprint on that machine. But the need that I have for a laser is not. I don't really need a 4 foot circle. I've got a CNC. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting set still too long, guys. It's been long.
Yeah.
3 or 4 days.
He's been doing a lot of driving and whatnot. So
Well, when I sit still, I'm like a shark, man. When I sit still, I start running out of juice too. My body's like, okay, we're done for today. I'm going to sleep. So I had to keep moving. A little more trail mix. My hard work, my Menards trail mix here. It's actually good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I should have got a 5-gallon bucket of it.
well, it's over by your hotel. You can grab some more. But yeah, let's see. Here's another one too. Clack, my F2 Ultra UV arrives Tuesday. I did order the RA3. What is the one thing you would suggest I get for it?
I mean, a way to vent it. Other than that, and if you have the UV, it's not going to be generating a lot of smoke per se. I mean, it can, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty spot on. If you have an exhaust system, just make sure you got your exhaust set up. That's it. The UV, the X2 UV is really nice. I know it's expensive. I mean, don't you ain't got to be like head cashier to figure that one out. It is expensive, but it's X2's done a really good job of streamlining the processes. Their UV has the framing laser capability, curved surface. Like it has all the different features that, I got my Omni 1. I love my Omni 1, but my Omni 1 is only good for flat stuff, or you could do rounded stuff. But if it's the least bit like not perfectly round, the Omni 1 is going to struggle because focus is key with the UV. So like 1 millimeter out of focus can be the difference between a great engrave and no engrave. So being able to do the curved surface engraving, even though you think in your mind that you're not going to use that very often on glass and stuff, it comes in really handy because it can map out that glass within enough accuracy that the laser can overcome those variations in the material and get a good focused engrave all through the work area. So it's one of the things that I didn't even think about until I got it and I'm trying to do jobs with it. And then I run across the fact that I'm like, you know what? I can't get this job to work on no other machine but this one. And so even though those features are not something you think you're going to use a lot, when you come across a job that you need it, it's good to have. So let's see what else we got. Oh, Southern Laser Craft says I have the S1, and the main reason I went with the F2. Was it F2 or the F2 Ultra? Oh, F2 Ultra. Okay. Yeah, the if you're used to the ecosystem, like I said, and you can handle the price tag, I don't think you can go wrong with X-Tool machines. I'm gonna be honest with you. Not every machine they've ever made I liked, but the F2, good machine. The UV, great machine. Like it's my go-to for like materials that I can't necessarily do a bunch of testing with. I'm gonna throw under the UV because it's just more forgiving when it comes to that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, material is always good because you're going to be doing some testing and playing around.
Oh yeah, if they got the rotary, you save your Coke cans or your pop cans or soda cans or whatever you call them, because you can learn how to use that rotary just using like technically, like even with the UV, I can engrave this with the UV. Now I have to find the right settings, but I can engrave this. Like monster cans, whatever. I mean, anything that you can put under it, you can engrave more than likely with that UV, and it's nice. You'll enjoy it.
And if you get really serious with really any galvo laser, having an XY positioning table where you put it down on that and then you can dial in your adjustments. Like if you're doing a lot of trying to align to coins and things like that, that might not be. I mean, if you're doing the same types, you're going to make a jig that's consistent and you know where it's at. But if you're doing kind of one-off stuff, having that to be able to just fine tune your engraving is kind of nice. But that's kind of like that's a down the road thing. But
Yeah.
it's one thing that it's not necessarily always cheap. You're going to spend a little bit of money on it, but it can make it a lot easier than like, oop, I moved too far, I moved it too far. And you can make those micro adjustments to your positioning on custom things a little bit easier.
Kevin's asking, do you use Cuddle? Having it built in Lightburn is really nice for the subscription, although it's kind of spendy. I haven't.
No, I have a couple other AI tools available to me through other things, so I haven't really haven't dove too hard into that for a lot of laser creation stuff. So I haven't played with Cuddle itself, but I know some others have and really enjoy it.
Let's see. Don is saying the Fox Alien that I can get looks like the Vasto XXL. I'm not sure which one that is. James Dean's the expert on the Fox Aliens. I haven't seen that one before, I don't think. Oh, Steve's pulling it up. Is that the tube frame one?
Well, it's got the dual linear rails on it, and
Let's say it comes with a 20-watt laser and bits.
I mean, considering the retail price right now is $2,200.
Oh, so the retail is $2,200 currently.
Well, it's on sale for $2,200.
Yeah,
it's
probably capable.
Yeah, it does look like it supports up to a 65 millimeter trim router spindle. I mean, with the ball screws, it's not going to be, so with the laser module, it's not going to be fast.
Yeah. It's not going to be fast laser.
I'm not you can do it, and in certain scenarios, it's very useful, but I'm not a fan of running a diode laser module on an open gantry CNC machine. It just, unless there's, you just need that big working area and it's that's the tool for it. But for me, I would be focusing more on how does it do as an actual CNC router. And things like that. I mean, I've put deals out like that where, when it's too much down below the retail price, you kind of start wondering, like, is it just the person needs to get rid of it? Is there something wrong with it? You kind of want to make sure you kind of have a good feel for it. That being said, I mean, if someone's asking near full price for something too, you could still get someone's problem. So I usually, if it's used, I try to find a deal that even if I have to replace something, I still feel it's a deal. So
you have to be careful anytime you're buying from individuals, especially.
But there's a lot of people who just they jump into it, they think they're going to like it, and they go, "This isn't for me. I want it out of here." And especially something that big, it's finding someone that takes a bigger machine like that. It's a little bit harder. So they might be trying to make it attractive.
And it may be that they've been trying, like you said, trying to get rid of it for a while. Carla Campbell says, I bought one of your box pattern sets. Do I need to ungroup them to move each one in and out of the material? Not sure who you're talking to, but if you have a bunch of different like little parts to an engrave or whatever, yes, you can bring, like, let's say that the file was designed for a like 850 by 400 work area and you only have a 400 by 400, you can pick and choose and arrange the parts into your work area and just leave the ones that you don't want to cut, that like you can just arrange them outside the work area and send it through Lightburn and do them that way. There's some files that I have, a lot of times I'll put all the cut files in the one thing, or either I'll put it into like a library, and you can create that by using that library. You can just drop in the pieces that you need to cut out or whatever. So I don't know if it's could be mine or it could be Steve's or whichever, but But yeah, you can ungroup them and rearrange. However, just make sure if it's got tabs or slots or whatever, just make sure you don't forget and ungroup the slots and print something or cut something that doesn't have slots that's supposed to have slots. Ask me how I know. I've done it. You lose that one little slot gets like ungrouped and left over there by its lonesome, and then you're trying to put it together and you're like, well, I want this fit, and you look and it's missing one hole. So
Cool. And Clack
Hey.
was talking about them earlier. But
Yep.
they're normally weren't going to be open, but it sounds like the Midwest Makers Mercantile are going to open up for a little bit before the meetup, and they are really just a block away from the Wow
Yeah.
Zone in the River Hills Mall. You enter in through Target; it's just going to be off to your left, and yeah, it'd be cool to have people maybe stop over there and check out that environment as far as what other people are making, or maybe you want to talk with them about, what is it like to work with a store like this, or maybe you're in the area
Yeah,
and you
I
want
was
to
gonna
talk
say
about
that maybe it's somebody from this local or
Yeah.
whatever.
So
Like I said, if I were gonna start, and I told them this today, like they've got like the way that the shop's put together, the way it's decorated, just the whole, just like everything about the experience. I like the way they've got it set up. You really, unless they told you, you wouldn't know that they don't have people in the back room just cranking this stuff out. Uh, it's not separated into like booths. Everything they're tracking it differently, so it's cool because they had tumblers, they had everything. Like if you think of it, they had it. Some talented people too, because some of the stuff that was in there was really cool. You had some, like everything from like CNC parts with laser engraving to like I think there was some 3D printed stuff. There was it was everything. It was, and then of course the 3D print store is like right next door also.
yeah, I was just gonna say
So,
that I believe their store hours, unless they aren't able
yeah.
to, but they should be open tomorrow.
They were
as
open
well.
today. It wasn't really busy in there, but
So it also a good shop to check out for
you're gonna drop a link to the Midwest
Yeah.
Makers place.
yeah if you need filaments, they stock a lot of colors in PLA, PETG, ABS. They have a few different brands at TPU. They got a whole big back wall of that. So here is the link for the Maker Mercantile Midwest Makers.
You just have them extra monitors over there. You're cheating on me.
And let me get the other one too. Both stores right next to each other. Definitely cool to stop by and check out, and always appreciate supporting our local stores here. And there's the 3D printing shop. So yeah, if you're in the area, it sounds like they're gonna open up the Maker store from like 2 to 3:30 ish. Yeah, be a good place to stop by and check out before coming over to the Wow Zone just a block away and for the meetup at 4.
Yeah, like I said, and they're nice people too. So, like I said, I went in there today talking to them about it because Steve had told me about it, but I had never been in there because never been to Minnesota. So I got to look at it today, and it was really cool. So I'm trying to find a video. All right, here we go. Working on one screen over here. So Uber First says, I got any advice on using the RA3 with the P2S? Tried my first tumbler today, tested on a 30-ounce Stanley yesterday, and was trying to figure out what height to set the drop tray. Well, you can set the thing to remember is what is it, like 15? Is it 15 millimeters, 20 millimeters travel? I think it is. But the easiest way to do it is going to be to use what they call the auto mode. I did a video and I did 40-ounce tumblers. This is a link to the video if you want to look at that, if you hadn't already saw it. I used their adapter that they have, and I've done it both ways, using the RA2 Pro, doing it manually, and using the RA3 and doing it with their auto mode. I strongly recommend the auto mode. And I think I went over and showed in the video where I had mine set as far as the height. But when you're setting it up, you're going to want to try to take, and what I would do is before you power the machine on, that way you can kind of move the module around. move the module, power the machine off, move the module around, get it out there to where, you know, you're going to have the rotary, and you want to have it to where I think it's if it's within an inch of the bottom of that the cover that's on the module, I think you're good. I think it's an inch. I talk about it in the video, but once you get it within an inch or so, that allows it to be able to focus to it and have a little bit of a standoff. And there's very specific, if you have to take the handles off of it or whatever, there's a setup process. But I go over that in this video, so that, you know, like you want to put the pins up and down, and then there's a line in the work area if you do the auto mode. The auto mode makes it really easy. You just got to follow the steps. But watch that one and see. I think I did show where I had it set, but basically you want to have the surface of the tumbler. I think it's within an inch or 3/4 of an inch of the module, but you'll know because it won't focus if you get it too close or too far away. So I did a video. We got a lot of links in there right there at the end. It's like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, we did.
What time are they opening? Somebody,
They
Kevin
said
said
2 to 3:30.
between 2 and 3:30. All right,
Yep.
2 and 3:30 at the Minnesota Makers. So there we go.
Right there. We'll open from 2 to 3:30 tomorrow, and then
Woohoo!
4 p.m. is when the meetup
Yeah.
happens.
Cool.
So Rob Wilson's asking, can you guys explain steps per rotation in Lightburn?
I bet Steve can.
And so here's the setup you're going to get into, is if you can see that. So on a chuck rotary, it needs to kind of know when the rotary turns a step, it moves a certain distance, and you need to calibrate that. And so a lot of manufacturers will give you steps per rotation or steps per millimeter,
Millimeters
things like
per
that.
rotation.
Millimeters per rotation. And you do need to calibrate that. Easiest way to do that is to take like a pop can or something disposable, or put some tape on a tumbler.
Toilet paper roll will work.
Toilet paper roll. Draw yourself a 1-inch square or something that you can measure, but then also have like a flexible tape like most rotaries come with. So you run that, and if it's too low or too high, you need to adjust your steps rotation up or down to add more steps so it goes further, or reduce them so it travels less, to kind of dial that into where you keep checking the measurement until you get it to within an inch. And then that's going to be your steps per rotation. So it knows for one full revolution, it's X number of steps on the motor to make that revolution. Once you have that, then by changing the object diameter or circumference, it knows how to adjust the steps to make your image come out at that distance from where its orbit's at. So
Yeah, it's complicated. It's it can be. Most chuck rotaries, when you get them, they're going to come in with a manual. It's going to tell you, like, what is it? One of the common ones like 360, I think, and another one's like 360 is typically like atom stack, stuff like that. I think some of them are like in the 800s, depending. But yeah, it's kind of like clicks. It's like, how many clicks does it take for it to go all the way around? Because the stepper works in steps. It's what's called a stepper. Like it doesn't necessarily turn like smoothly. It just more or less moves. And so you got to know how many of those steps it takes to make it go all the way around. And like Steve said, if you don't have that, you can find it pretty easy doing, like he said, on how to get it figured out. And what I like to do is, like he's talking about, I'll use like an old monster can or something like this one here. You can either take it like this, or you can take it outside, hit it with some black spray paint, let it dry. And this is a really good tool to use to set your steps per rotation, because if you put some black spray paint on this, it's easy to see the line. And so what you would do is you would measure this with a measuring tape, create it in your work area, and then basically get it to where it lines up with each other, or use a known size, 200 millimeters, 100 millimeters, 2 inches, 3 inches, whatever. And like I said, it takes a little bit of work, but if you got something like this, you just do it, because it doesn't need to be big. Like you can literally just make it like 5 millimeters wide and 100 long or something. And you just keep doing it until you get it right. And then what I like to do is either take a Sharpie and some painter's tape and stick you a label on the bottom of it, so and so steps per rotation, or either stick it under a laser and engrave it on it. That way you always know, because that doesn't change. It doesn't matter what machine you hook it to. When you power that thing on, the steps per rotation is specific to the rotary, not the laser. So this, like I said, depending on which one you have. There you go. Yeah, the 360 is I think Adam Stacks is 360. I think the X Tool is a little different for some reason. I'm thinking it's a little different. I don't know if it's the gear, because a lot of times too, the gears, if it has a gear instead of just a shaft, that gear changes things. Like it adds or subtracts.
The original RA2 had a reduction gear.
Yeah.
And so it was even lower.
I'm thinking it was like 320 maybe, something like that. But yeah, it depends. Depends on how it's built. Most manufacturers will put that information in the literature for the rotary. And if not, you can search the internet a lot of times and somebody has found it for you.
Yep.
But yeah. Questions, comments, concerns? It is how long we've been doing this? 1 hour and 46 minutes. So we're drawing close to the end, guys. I'd love to stay and chat all night, but I got a place I got to be tomorrow. So I got to get back to the motel and get ready for that. So yeah.
Yep. Kevin Jensen says using aluminum tape under blue painter's tape saves the powder coating on tumbler when testing the rotary.
Yep. Could do it.
I usually have a couple of test tumblers that get pretty abused. And then, like you say, you can sand them down, repaint them for just like testing some of those. Doesn't necessarily help you with testing the laser settings for the powder coating after you've really obliterated it, but it can be good for calibrating and testing design. So
yeah, I never throw a tumbler away, because it's like, I mean, even if I'm just gonna take them outside and spray paint them with some black Krylon and use them to like set up a fake wrap just to check, make sure my measurements are correct, they're handy to keep around. And one thing that I would recommend for you to do, if you haven't already done it, that's pretty handy, is go ahead one day when you're bored, you ain't got nothing going on, get you some whatever painter's tape that you use. I prefer green because it's easier to engrave. Blue works too, but blue reflects blue light, so sometimes it's a little hard to see in there. But just run some speed and power tests on engraving painter's tape and find a setting that marks it to where you can see it but don't go through it. And that way you can save that in your library. When you're doing tests and stuff, you can literally put painter's tape on a piece of wood, engrave the painter's tape, look at it and go, yeah, that's where I want it, and then snatch the painter's tape off. But you got to make sure you got the settings right. You don't want to go too hot.
Randall's asking, will I be selling my hats and shirts? Well,
like tomorrow or in the future?
Tomorrow, a lot of the stuff's going to be, we're going to be doing some drawings and trying to give away some things. It's fun to meet you guys, but it's also a good chance for us to thank you all that can come, because, without you guys watching our videos and attending our lives and such, it'd be us talking into a void, and we wouldn't be having this opportunity for these things. So, we try to do that as much as we can. We're going to continue doing, more of the online giveaways where we ship stuff, and that, logistics of that and the costs go up a little bit higher. But some of this was also a trial run to see how, my time, my cost, sourcing, I don't want to stock a bunch of shirts and sizes and such, but if I can work with some local vendors on availability of things and do some of it in-house, or even work with some of the other local vendors on it. Yeah, I'd like to be able to offer them up. I don't know that it's in a place where I've looked at some of the online options, and it just feels like low quality and high cost for the stuff. Clack's got a really good business in town that does like all the logistics for him. And
I just right before I come down here, the money that I made off all those hat boxes that I invoiced for them, I gave that back to them. I ordered a bunch of shirts, so they got the money for the hat boxes back.
But for now, knowing that it's probably going to be smaller, I also like the idea that, if you get a shirt or a hat for me, I had a hand in making it, and so as much as I have the time and the capacity, I want to try to figure out the logistics for the people that I don't get to meet in person, that we can, maybe offer them up for sale for a reasonable price. So,
Yeah.
but tomorrow there'll be a select, like I don't have one for everybody, but we're hoping between the machines I'm going to be giving away, between Clack stuff, between the very limited edition Clack on a coaster, and I may even make these a little more special. I'm going to maybe see if he's going to sign them. So you definitely
You better bring a Sharpie.
have a one of three coasters. We're going to try to make sure
Autograph coasters.
we want to make sure everybody gets to go home with something. But yeah, we'll continue to do more online giveaways moving forward, and as possible, try to set up ways that if you want to support us through buying some merch that makes sense, we'll try to expand that as well.
Yeah, like I said, we're gonna have some tickets for you guys tomorrow on some stuff, and we're gonna try to do some like door prizes and so forth too. So I hope it's gonna be fun. Like I said, we want to try to give as much away as we can, but unfortunately, we haven't hit it big yet, and so there is a limit to what we can give to you guys. But the machines are going to be pretty intense. Like I said, Steve's really clearing up some space over here, so I think some of you guys are going to be happy about that.
Well, I hope so. And better that they get used. I always appreciate seeing people, able to take some of the stuff that I have, maybe upgraded from or brought in for testing and it just doesn't have a place in my shop. It's better to find people that can use them and such. So, like the whole over thing, it'd be nice if we could give everybody one, but do what we can.
Yeah. I think Bobby said he likes my safety first line during the review of the Creality A1 laser. Hey, now that thing's not going to hurt you. Not if you left the door open. They're stickler about that. You can turn it off, but when you power it back up, it's going to be right back on. Which it's good. I mean, they're, from a company standpoint, somebody would sue them if they didn't. But
and that laser was really, I mean, when they were talking to me about it, they actually asked me if I could do a little more of like, can you do more of like how to get started with this one? And so I said, well, I'll mix it in. I'll try to, give people an idea of what this laser can do, but also show people kind of how to get started with it and such. So they're really targeting beginners, and yeah, they're going to make sure that as much as possible, the machine is not letting you get into trouble. Not that you can't, but
Brad, I'm sorry on this one, man. You got to be there for this drawing. You're actually going to get like a little it's the tickets. You know what I'm talking about? They come on a roll, like you tear them apart. You got one that goes in the bucket and you keep one so that when we call your number out, I brought some of those that I've had for other events and stuff. And I'm guessing that's the way we're doing the machines too, right? Or are you going to do something different?
We'll see. I mean, because we're kind of doing the machines based off of RSVPs. We'll figure out the full logistics, and everybody that shows up tomorrow should understand it.
I forgot you did the RSVP thing too, didn't you?
But yeah, we kind of want to make sure it's people that, whether it's through Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or whatnot, that it's people that are following us, not just stopping by, that can hopefully get some of the equipment and whatnot. So we asked the people RSVP, because I needed to know how many, and working with the venue, and then B, to try to make sure.
Brad's coming to next level. Brad wasn't coming up here. Brad's going to be at next level though. We'll be at next level too. So if you don't get some merch here, maybe there'll be some left over. We can have some at next level too. SMR Talix is saying I'm engraving on a Rolly MK2 with a 0.08 line interval, and I'm getting lines on the engrave. I have wiped the rails and regreased them, but issue persists. Any thoughts? 0.08 line interval.
What wattage module are you running it at? And also the material, because if you're seeing lines where there's a gap between the engraving, or if the material, you could have too much of an overlap and you're getting a darker section where it's overlapping.
Yeah, a lot of the problems with lines can be resolved with creative use of Z offset, whether you defocus out just a little bit to make, basically make the lines less it kind of softens the edges of your beam, so that makes things blend together a little better. So whether it's a tumbler or whatever, if you defocus it a little bit, sometimes you can kind of smooth those edges.
Another thing you can do is you come into Lightburn, assuming you're using Lightburn with your Rolly, you can do a speed and power test, but you can also do an interval test. You can change this. So you could play around with, going from 0.06 on up to 0.1 and to see if that
It
makes.
says it's a 10 watt on plywood. Looks like it's not overlapping the lines. It may not be with a
Okay,
10
yeah,
watt.
on a 10 watt, you might need to bump it down to 0.07 or even 0.06, depending on it. So this would be a good test to run. Just draw, do it some squares, have it fill them in, and just jump your interval from, point 0.06 on up to, point
We can run it like 0.4. I'd give you a little bit of overlap. Do like 0.4 to, obviously you're saying you're getting them at 0.8, so you could do like 0.4 to 0.8.
Yeah, so you can run this test as well, not just speed and power, but you can change it to interval to kind of have it adjust that to see if a certain variation dials it in for you.
Yeah. There's a really good chance. Like I said, a 10 watt can have a really, really fine dot size. I mean, 0.8 is kind of the wide side on most of your 10 watts. I think I can't remember what the beam width on the Rolly is, but yeah, like I said, do an interval test on it and see.
Brian wants to know if the tickets are from the movies like a kid. They were black and white movies since you're old.
Not exactly.
He's not that much older than me.
Yeah, I know you guys have went to like conferences or something where they roll a little thing, and I've got a thing that I made this little basket that you spin it.
Yeah.
And they flop around inside it. I've got it, but it's in the shop. I didn't bring it because it took up a lot of room, and we were space was at a premium in the car on the way up. But yeah, we've got I bought a little milk crate basket to throw them in. So, like for some of the merch and stuff like that.
If we were real organized, we would have come up with a whole trivia game that,
Yeah. What's the name of Steve's cats? That could be one of them.
Yeah. But, anyway,
Ain't nobody got time for all the trivia though.
No, I'd rather have time to network and hang out with people than I'm the person when you go to those conferences and such and they do the icebreakers, I'm the one going,
oh yeah. What was it at Workbench Con we went to? They wanted to do let's gonna break up into groups and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not these aren't my drills, not my drills.
Yeah.
Don says, what do you guys think of the We Create Lumos Flex 15 watt fiber, 15 watt diode machine? They tried to get me to take that one. We Create tried to get me to take their Lumos Ultra and the Flex. I don't have a problem with the Lumos. The Lumos worked as advertised for me. I didn't have any problems with it. Maybe other people's experience was different. Their software to me was kind of, it's better, but it wasn't ideal. But I didn't want to take the exact same machine with nothing more than, a horsepower upgrade and go through doing a review on it. I'm trying to limit my reviews so that I'm not overwhelmed because I got other stuff I want to do also with the business. So I've been trying to be a little more particular about the reviews that I take in. And I'm trying to stick with either, there are companies that I've worked with for a long time, and just like X-Tool, I've turned down the last couple of machines X-Tool offered me. I've turned them down because it was machines that I didn't feel was relevant, and I didn't think brought what was it, the M2 or whatever?
Yep.
Yeah. I just didn't feel like it was something I wanted to do in the shop. So I've been turning down machines from companies that I've worked with for a long time. Atom Stack. Y'all know I've worked with Atom Stack for a long time. I like the company. I like a lot of their machines. But I've been limiting how many I took in. And so when We Create asked me about this Flex, I was like, I'm not, no, I'm trying to dial it back a little bit. The Lumos was a decent machine. I mean, it was. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's because I've seen some folks say that it was the F2 killer. I mean, I guess that's a matter of perspective, and my perspective is that it ain't that. I mean, it's a good machine. It's portable. It checks a lot of boxes. Me personally, I still have my F2. I don't have the We Create Lumos. I prefer the F2. But I think it's a good machine. It's a decent machine for most people, not everybody. There was a problem that they had with the unidirectional engraving. I think they wound up fixing that. Did they not? They did it at the end, did they not? Which
Yeah, they on the original Lumos, they did finally enable that. But I don't know. I know they made it an option. I don't know if it's default to that.
Yeah. So, but other than that, like I said, the Flex is not. I mean, I don't think it's a bad machine. It's basically the Lumos with a different output. I mean, other than that, I don't think they changed anything with it. But yeah. But that's my thing. I do have a few machines that I'm going to be taking, but the machines that I'm going to be taking are machines that I feel like fit a unique, like whether it's something that I'm just interested in, or I feel like it's going to benefit people, or it's doing an advancement that I haven't seen before. Those are kind of what I'm limiting myself to. And I'm like I said, there's so many. And if I took every machine I get offered, I would never be able to do anything but machine reviews. And as much as I enjoy the new tech and being able to explain to you guys how they work, what I think about them, I want to do other stuff as well. So there's that.
Yeah.
Steve's got some reviews coming too.
Yeah.
Steve's got a few coming.
Yep.
But anyway, it is 2 hours and 1 minute, 48 seconds in.
It is 9:02 p.m.
Yeah.
So
last call.
Yes, there have been sightings of stickers around the shop.
There's one. Y'all, I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but it's right above Steve's head. Where's this thing at? Strut. There's one right there, and there's another one. Like you can't see it. It's on the board back there. There's a bunch of them. There's one on that laser. Like there's lots. I promise you. And there's some that you can't see. That'll probably never be found.
So anyway, it's been fun. Finally alive with Clack here in my shop. So few little technical difficulties at the get-go, but we've been trying to make most of the time. He's mixing up the family vacation, so he's been trying to make sure he takes care of family and does things with them as well. But we'll be wrapping up here real quick. Just one more mention. We do have the meetup tomorrow. I'll drop that link down there just in case anybody hasn't seen it in the past 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We are meeting up tomorrow here in Mankato at the WOW Zone, 4 to 6 p.m. We'll be having some fun. If you do come, grab a soda or buy some food or something that'll help bring the cost of the rooms down. It's not terribly expensive, but any food that's purchased comes off of our room reservation fee. And so we're covering a little bit of that with some cookies.
Well, I'm going to be eating and probably drinking some stuff.
But so we'll be enjoying that. We'll be giving away some machines, giving us some swag, but mostly we want to hang out with you all in person that can make it. We want you to hang out with each other. We're all about building up others. And there's room for us all in here. So these meetups are hopefully not only to meet us, but other people hopefully in the area that you can connect with and, maybe make some support structures or collaborations or, business to business connections and things like that. So looking forward to that. And yeah, Jake coming from Indiana. That's
hey, hats off to you.
I've done that drive.
Yeah. Hats off to you for sure. Hey, make sure, if you drove all the way from Indiana, make sure you make a point to let me know that you drove from Indiana because that's pretty cool. We are going to try to get, I want to, and I guess Steve does, but we want to try to get some pictures and stuff tomorrow also. So I said 2 to 4 is going to be the event, but if you can stay for the duration, that way we can get everybody together and get some pictures. That would be awesome. Because I'm very humbled by the fact that people would actually get in a car and drive across the street to come talk to me or see me or whatever. I am just floored that some of you guys are driving the way that the distances that you're driving. And I don't deserve it, but I'm thankful that you guys enjoy the content, enjoy the videos, enjoy whatever enough to actually do it. And don't ever, if I ever get to the point where I start taking that for granted, y'all let me know, because like I said, like Steve said, it's you guys that makes all of this possible, really. I mean, me and Steve just started sharing stuff, and then it's just grown. And we will never take that for granted. And we're gonna always try to give back to you guys when we can. Can't always, because we still got bills to pay and things we have to do, but we want to do it when we can. So we'll see you guys tomorrow for sure. And like I said, let us know, let us know where you came from and all that good stuff. And don't forget the Minnesota Makers,
Midwest Maker
Midwest.
Mercantile, 2 to 3:30. They'll be open. They're at the River Hills Mall, just a block away from the venue. Go in through the Target entrance. It'll be in the main mall just to your left. Give them a visit, check them out, say hi, and then come meet us at the Wow Zone at 4 p.m.
Yeah, go look at their stuff. It's some cool stuff. I mean, it's and maybe you can go back and to wherever you're from if you're not from here locally and come up with a way to work with other businesses the way they are. I think it's pretty cool. So
Yep.
There you go.
All right, everyone. Well, for those that'll be here tomorrow, we'll see you then. Otherwise, everyone else, check the channel for content. I did drop a real short video on upgrading my dust collector there. It's like a 3-minute video. Go give it a watch, boost the numbers a little bit.
Yeah.
I dropping it on a holiday Sunday was probably a bad idea, but I was up early editing, so
You should have put fireworks in it.
yeah, give that a watch. Otherwise, we'll be sharing some stuff. If you can't be at the Maker Meetup, we'll be putting some things out probably through Facebook, some quick things. And Clack's probably going to put together a little bit of a video from his general visit of, some stuff as well. So,
I got some pictures at the Menards and the Fleet Farm and all the places today. Of course, I don't have time to do anything with it right now, but I'm gonna try to do an after action video of my trip once I get back home and get my feet back under me.
Otherwise, next week we'll continue the streak with 180, 188 next week. I think this is 187.
Yeah, I think next week's gonna be 188.
So we're moving on towards 200. And
Brandy said that you don't think it's 2 to 4, is it? No, it's 4 to 6 is our thing.
4 to 6 is our thing.
2
to 3:30 is the Maker Mercantile is going to open up. They're normally not open on Mondays, but since all the makers are kind of coming in, they'll open up so you can check it out. And the 3D printing shop will be open right next to them. So if you're here at 2 in town, head to the mall, go to the Target entrance, check them out, hang out with some people, maybe buy some things from both those places, and then 4 p.m. come on over to the Wow Zone and we'll hang out, have some fun.
And hopefully it's going to be a fun, awesome time. So look forward to seeing you guys.
Yep, Brian, I showed him the Mountain Dew donuts at Quick Trip.
Yeah, Brady might actually like the Mountain Dew donuts.
They're more like a lime flavor, I hear. So anyway, all right, everybody, thanks again. We will see you possibly tomorrow,
maybe.
Otherwise, we'll see you for sure next Sunday. Be fun, stay safe, and get out in your workshop and make something.
Yep. See you guys.